What if I told you that facts and features don't sell, but feelings do? In this video, we're breaking down how storytelling can transform video marketing from forgettable content into an unforgettable experience. Chapter 1. Storytelling matters in marketing. Storytelling in marketing uses narrative to connect emotionally with your audience, not logically. People feel before they think, and stories tap into emotions, building trust, empathy, and cementing your message into the audience's mind. Now, if you don't believe me, I spoke with some people this past weekend at the DragonCon here in Atlanta, Georgia, whose primary job is using storytelling to make sales. Now, these are very passionate folks, and they were able to merge their passion with making money. But the reality is, at the end of the day, it's a business, just like your business. And they were able to use storytelling, whether they created the story or they're using a IP that already exists, to make a living for themselves. And also, in some cases, to help IP that already exists to grow even further. So without any further ado, I want to introduce some really great people that I met this weekend at DragonCon here in Atlanta.
What we find a lot of the times with customers, with our customers, with our clients, is that they don't understand the power of storytelling. And basically, all you have here is based on some kind of IP.
So of course.
How do you feel about that, and how does that make your job easier?
Well, I mean, when the product speaks for itself, that makes my job great. If the people behind it have developed the story and developed the property so that it's instantly recognizable, we don't have a whole lot of work. All we have to do is point them in the right direction. A good story or a good background sells itself. And as the business owner, I'm the manager of the store. All we do is kind of act as a divining rod toward what they're looking for. So good product, good story means easy business for us. And easy marketing as well,
Yeah, because that's the thing that we sometimes, like I said, we there's a bit of a disconnect, because I think that some businesses will think, oh, just because we're not selling a toy, for example, doesn't need to have a story behind it. But I think that's absolutely not true.
Well, everything has a story behind it at its core. I mean, from the moment you were born to where you are right now, that your entire journey is a story. Every piece of clothing you wear, every piece of jewelry you put on your finger, everything that means anything to you has some kind of background to it. Nothing is without tale, nothing is without story. And anybody who doesn't acknowledge that fact doesn't want to further their business, doesn't want to further their growth, or doesn't want to further their product. Because if there's anything that people like, it's a good story. And we're gravitational species toward that. If you can't make something relevant to someone, then they're not going to want it. They're not going to want to buy it. That's the whole key of good marketing and good sales, is that you find products that speak to people. I mean, I'm a lifelong Spider-Man collector. His story speaks to me. And there's a reason I gravitate toward that character. I modeled 30 years of teaching after Spider-Man, of all people, because of the story he tells.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't understand why anybody would not want to do that, because everything in our personal lives, everything that we do as a people relates to our story of getting to a place where we were. And Star Wars is a great example. It's a classic story of good and evil. Basically, it's your Greek and Roman tragedies all rolled up into flashy laser swords and blasters. And people love this, good wins over evil. That story translates into almost every other property that you can imagine. So it would just be in other words, silly not to acknowledge that fact.
The thing that was striking about your costume, right? Obviously, storytelling influences your spending habits, I would say, right? How long did it take you to do this? Like you say, like how many hours? Let's not even talk about money. How many hours did it take to put it all together?
All together collectively, maybe 3 days. If you put it all together, 3 days straight of working.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Put everything together, cut, painted. Yeah.
A long time.
A while, yeah.
So, what do you like? How much money do you guys spend on, like? Because again, we hear because we love stories, right? We love the lore. How much of your how can I say it? How much of your paycheck usually goes to just spending money on fan stuff?
How much of my paycheck goes? A numerical value is kind of hard to say,
But a good amount.
but yeah, I would at least a couple grand in just different items, whether it's comics or Funko Pops or.
So a lot of collecting as well, because I do some collecting. I'm into GI Joe. I'm a bit of a GI Joe guy, which is also Marvel. Used to be. So also, your purchases also go to collecting like action
Figures and yeah,
Marvel Legends.
some, but it's mainly the. I don't know why we're so into Funko Pops, but it's been like our thing to collect together.
Yeah.
Funko Pops and some of the comics and independent artist stuff too. Like we're up here, we like seeing the independent stuff more so than the mainstream that you'll find in Walmart.
And there is a lot of amazing independent stuff here now.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Just cons is where you find most of them. Yeah.
Now, you can see here how these folks are passionate about this particular story, the Spider-Man story, and how they have spent that hard-earned money to create costumes. That means making purchases. And more than likely, they will be lifelong fans. And probably their kids will be fans as well. So it goes to show that an IP that was developed over 50 years ago is still making money today. Now you can say, well, how does that translate to my business? Because I don't make comic books, right? Or I don't make toys, for example. Well, everything is story. So if you are able to tell a story that is compelling to the viewer, compelling to the buyer, then you don't have to have a superhero. You can have a story of how your company has helped other folks in similar situation. You can have a story that showcases how you guys overcame a problem with the client. So basically showing you as a problem solver. And you can have stories that are very personal so that people can create empathy with you as a business owner or you as a thought leader of some kind. Everybody has a story. There's nobody in the world that doesn't. It's just a matter of putting it together. So as we go forward with this video, we're going to be showcasing other folks that I talked to, which I'm very excited to do because I had a good time talking to everybody, but also how stories have influenced their lives and how, again, it will apply to your business. Chapter 2, the psychology behind storytelling. As I hinted to earlier, stories activate multiple parts of your brain, making your message more engaging and memorable than just facts alone. Good storytelling increases dopamine, which helps with attention, oxytocin, which helps with trust, and, believe it or not, cortisol, which gives you that feeling of tension as you're watching a good story unfold. Now, you might say, why do you need tension? That's such a negative thing. We don't want cortisol in our bodies. We don't want tension in our lives. Every good movie has tension. All the movies that you remember are filled with tension, and of course, at the end, some sort of release. So, your storytelling, when we're creating ads for clients, when you are developing any kind of video content, the best creators actually create quite a bit of tension in their videos. And I would say that if you want to have success and if you want to be able to stick in the minds of your viewers, you absolutely have to create tension. Otherwise, you become forgettable. And that, my friend, is the ultimate sin you do not want to commit. Now, this next interview here, This gentleman knows all about attention, has quite a bit of experience in the Star Wars world, and I say he's quite talented on what he was able to create with Lucasfilm. So without further ado, here's our next interview.
So we were talking about before how storytelling helps with marketing, and ultimately that translates to dollars, right? Because usually when we work with our clients, we work with businesses, and sometimes they don't understand how storytelling is so vital. And what's striking about your display here is that the storytelling that you do, which is visual storytelling, right? Is you have like the greatest franchise in the world. So how does that influence your work, and how does that influence your business overall?
Well, first of all, I do official work for Lucasfilm and Disney on Star Wars. So I've been illustrating Star Wars for almost 30 years now. But on top of that, I've also worked in the comic book industry for almost as long as well. So, and with comic books, obviously, you're dealing with storytelling on a regular basis. Yeah. So I was trained as a comic book artist originally, getting published all the way back, and basically in art college, when I was like 18, 19, getting published, drawing independent comics. So I've been working with storytelling in my art my entire career. And I find that in my case, because storytelling's a passion for me. I mean, if you can tell in my Star Wars art, so I find that I'm not just doing. There are a lot of artists who just do pinups. You know, here's your character. You know, I've got. You know, here's your fandom. I got that fandom. I got that fandom. That's not what I'm about. I do official work for studios and publishers, licensing, publishing art. So I'm often hired to do storytelling with my work. So it's not just fan art. It's not just you know, a pinup here. You know, I tend to do pretty in-depth pieces, complicated compositions. But for me, the best pieces, the best artwork that I gravitate to, that I enjoy, has storytelling in it, because I want something that I want to look at something, but I can move my eye through it and go on a little adventure. And I think those are the pieces that tend to, you know, connect to they have a wider reach for fans and customers. Whereas, yeah, there's a lot of pinup art. There's like, here's your favorite character. I have this character, I have that character. But to me, I mean, that's a little bit more fleeting, and that doesn't inspire me as a creator. I want to engage the fans with something more contextually deeper, you know.
Yeah, and just like I can pick up any piece that you have done, right? All these are yours, right?
Yeah. It's all my artwork here.
So
yeah.
like I'll put it to the test right now. So you pick up something like this,
right?
And it's not just soldiers sitting there. I in my mind, my imagination starts to go. You know, I see the storytelling in this.
Yeah.
So it's not just, like you said, it's not just a pin-up, it's not just pictures. You know, like I'm already thinking, there's so many, so much imagination, so much thought that goes into my mind. It's
right.
Like, is this something that the emperor made and put it up to like recruit people?
So this is more of a conceptual piece.
Yeah.
There is some storytelling in it, but something like that, I'm getting inspired by, say, like, old World War II propaganda posters.
Right.
Right.
It has that feeling for sure.
Yeah. So in that case, I am doing something more than just a pinup. I'm trying to engage my audience with a concept that is fun and entertaining, that you can look at it, and it says a lot more than, you know, just a couple of stormtroopers standing there, right?
Exactly.
So,
and you know, it's just I know you're super busy. I want to be respectful of your time, but I would say that authenticity, right, and that level of storytelling has to translate to good business.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. I find it has for me.
Yeah.
But then again, that's how I've been trained, but that's also my passion. So being a storyteller, whether it's comic book illustration I've done, or promotional posters for Star Wars, or Star Trek covers I've done for the comics, or even, you know, to me, that's I'm being who I am. You know, I'm being authentic to myself, because that's what I enjoy and love. And if I can be authentic to who I am with my art, I think that translates to the audience, right?
100%.
So I'm not just doing something because it's trendy. I'm not doing something just because it's a fad. I'm doing something because I'm passionate about it. And that's where the success comes in.
One of the things I liked about this particular interview is the passion on this artist's words, because, you know, I am a big Star Wars fan. I like the original trilogy more than anything else. I see how something that's pretty much, or a movie that's pretty much as old as I am, has influenced so many people. Again, a movie that has tension, a movie that has, you know, an amazing story that, for better or for worse, has reshaped most of movies that came after. There has been so many copies. So many people try to copy Star Wars, and even, you know, we can say that even the newer stuff is not as good as the 80s, 70s movies. You know, I did like. I'm gonna go off topic a little bit, but I did like Rogue One, the ending of Rogue One, or, you know, the last 2/3 of Rogue One. I thought were pretty good. But I digress. The point is that something like that, and this is a perfect example that's going to sag into the next interview. We have, you know, George Lucas he was very, and I'm going to misquote a lot of things here, but he wanted to create the movie, and I believe that there was some kind of financing issue going on, and he had the foresight to say, pay me less, but let me keep the merchandising rights to Star Wars, which he later then sold to Kenner, I believe, or at least licensed to Kenner, and he was able to create an enormous amount of money selling products. I mean, if you have, if you need any other proof that a well-told story can make you money, look no further than Star Wars. I think that I could be wrong about this, but I would say that Lucasfilm made more money licensing, you know, the Star Wars brand to be made as toys or lunchboxes or T-shirts and you name it, than the actual box office of the movies. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's the case, that the box office was not as profitable as the merchandising rights. So good for you, Mr. Lucas, to have the foresight to do that. And we can see that 40 years later, the message still going strong. Chapter 3, use the 3-part story structure for your marketing. A 3-part story structure is comprised of a problem, journey, and resolution. The problem starts with the tension or pain point your audience relates to. The journey shows the process, struggle, or transformation the character goes through. Finally, the resolution. Here we reveal the outcome and how your product or service has helped the customer. This part is critical. And I see a lot of businesses making this mistake. I mentioned this in past videos, but it's so relevant here. The customer is the hero, not your brand. And let me explain why that is. The mistake that I see people or companies make is that I had an accountant one time that did this mistake. He wanted to show, they got a new building, right? A super beautiful, expensive building. And they wanted to make content showing how much bigger the offices are going to be now, new square footage, and have more machines, and they have this, you know, they're going to be, you know, easy to park and all this stuff. And easy to park, okay, that's a feature. But the reality is they were talking about themselves the entire time and how great it is that they got this new building. Look at us, we got this new building. So look how we're doing well. That means nothing to the customer, right? Absolutely nothing. It's nice that you can find parking. It's nice that the building is nice. But at the end of the day, you're there to pay your taxes and make sure that you are doing everything right. So they make themselves the heroes. Now, the opposite of that, the correct way would have been to showcase how maybe they helped a business owner who was overwhelmed when it came to filing their taxes during tax season. And through these systems that they created, they were able to take Joe Schmo from being overwhelmed to now being able to focus on their business because so-and-so's firm has been able to guide them through the maze, which is filing their corporate taxes. That'll be a story, that'll be a hero's journey. That'll be a journey that the hero goes through, again, who's the customer. And I think businesses do that because I don't think they do it out of malice. I think they do it out of not knowing this step that you now know. So I expect you not to make the mistake, but the most businesses do make this mistake. So anyways, here's a business that doesn't make this mistake. In fact, when they create their comic books, they actually know who their target audience is. And even though they do want to sell their product, their stories are very much targeted to certain segments of the population, and also and they actually do some innovative things that you're going to see here during this interview, which I think are very cool. They have a great product, but in addition to that, again, it isn't about them. It is about the stories that they tell. And so I think that this independent comic book company has a bright future ahead. So without any further ado, here's the interview.
Today we're talking to people, or vendors here that basically do storytelling for a living.
Yep.
Okay, and how does that translate to actual dollars? Because a lot of the times business don't understand that storytelling sells.
That's right.
That's the best kind of marketing.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, if you're making a story and you want to sell it, I think it's something that has to actually really connect with the audience. It has to be timely, and it has to be something that you're passionate about. Because if you're not passionate about it, people are going to tell, especially if you're here just for business. You do want to be here as a service to customers. Yeah,
so you have that service first mindset.
That's correct.
And then unavoidably that translates to sales, which is sometimes people don't realize that.
Yeah,
like if you serve the
less is more. Yeah,
right.
Try without trying if possible.
So your business model is, so tell me a little bit about it, because it's the first exposure. So you guys are in the comic book world.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we have a bunch of interesting stories, all kinds of interesting different genres, specifically for POC, superheroes, villains, things like that. We've got Alchemist Dark History, our sci-fi dystopian time travel story. Our original book, Alchemist, which is a sci-fi martial arts Super Sentai Power Ranger S-type comic. We've got New Game Plus, our manga. We have Joystick Angels, our all-ages space opera. So we got a couple different genres. This one's super dope because it comes with music. So we got a couple of different things going on that are really, really unique. We'd love for you guys to check it out.
I mean, it's really beautifully drawn. I like the...
Thank you.
I don't know, I like the logo quite a bit. It's almost like G.I. Joe-ish.
Yes.
In a way.
Very military.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Thank you. All the graphic novels today are discounted to $30. They come signed by me, the writer and creator, and you get a protective sleeve. We'd love you guys to support us any way that you can.
Awesome. And how, overall, being here at the show today, does that work really well as far as the, how can I say it, grassroots kind of marketing, like meeting the fans where they are? That works well for you guys?
Yeah. For me, meeting the fans directly is the most important thing that we can do. I mean, again, because we're talking about building and meeting people, and that's really what it is. Comic books, art is a personal business, so you have to get to know people on a personal level. Yeah.
Cool. Well, listen, I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, my pleasure.
The art
Absolutely.
looks fantastic.
Thank you.
Anybody who should be looking at it, check it out.
Yes.
How do you buy these if you're not at the show?
Yeah, super easy. If you go to raecomics.com, you can buy anything you see here on the table.
Awesome.
Yes.
Guys, thank you for your time.
It's a pleasure.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chapter 4. Choose storytelling formats that work well for video. Here is when I tell you something that perhaps you wouldn't expect from me, who owns a video production company. You don't necessarily have to be super polished. And what I mean by that is, of course, you have to have good audio, most important of all. Yes, it would be great if you have a quality camera or something, that is professional. But your lighting doesn't necessarily have to be perfect. There could be imperfections on, for example, the video that we're going to show you next from DragonCon. You can hear other people talking as I am talking to this next interviewee, but you can still hear what we're talking about. But the audio is far from ideal, even though, obviously we cleaned it up and we made it, professional. But it's not ideal. It's not like a movie set. You don't have to have a movie set quality in order to convey your message and in order to actually reach the hearts. And that's the whole point of this video, to reach the hearts of your audience and turn them into raving fans. And here are some examples of videos that don't necessarily have to be super well polished, but they have to be at least some of these types of videos in order for you to reach your audience. We're looking at case studies or testimonials, original stories, customer journeys, and this next one is my favorite, mini documentaries. I really like those. And a day in a life style videos. The point is, keep it real, not just polished. And I know I like to polish things. I like to make things look good. But I would say that this next interviewee, this next person we're going to show you now, is one of the best examples, I would say, of somebody who's super earnest, who loves storytelling, but his interview wasn't polished. He was a bit nervous about talking to us. And I think it makes him endearing. So again, a good example of something that isn't polished, but definitely, how can I say it? Pulls on your heartstrings.
So obviously storytelling is very important to you. You chose to do this.
Yeah.
You're here in DragonCon 2025. Tell me a little about why story is so important to your career and all that good stuff.
Okay, well, I've always been a big fan of fiction, and I think it's been a big way to escape. I think that this, obviously, everybody here enjoys fiction. Just seeing. Can I try again?
Sure.
Thank you, I'm horrible. Storytelling.
Like I said, it's a very conversational thing.
Yeah.
So there's no wrong answer. So so obviously this is important to you, right?
Yeah.
So why is storytelling so important? Yeah.
Okay. I think that storytelling provides an amazing way for people to connect and find people to feel with and feel comfortable with. I think this has been an amazing experience for me. A lot of people come here with their own stories, their own vibes, look around, everybody's got costumes and stuff on. It's just a big comfort group, and we all have beautiful stories. So
the thing that I thought was so cool is that people have been super nice. Like you saw that we just did a skit over here for my friend.
Beautiful.
And it seems like there's a goodwill overall.
Yeah.
That how do you think that translates to people actually buying the products, right? Because I in my mind I kind of see if there's a story I like the Superman thing, I like Star Wars, I like G.I. Joe, it speaks to me, but ultimately I end up making purchases based on
the stories that you're into.
Yeah.
I think that it's easy to find something that you really enjoy, specifically a story, characters. For me, it's usually characters in a story, which still play a big part in it, but it's just easy to find something you like, and when you find something you like and it's from something you want to talking about it, we sit here and talk and conversate. I've learned a lot from people about the things that I sell. So I think whenever you find something you like from something you love, you get it.
Oh, sounds good.
Sorry, guys.
No, it's fine, man. Hey, listen. Thank you so much for your time. This has been great. I know you think you made it happen, but it really has been.
Thank you. Thank you.
But overall, you guys having a good show?
Yeah, it's been amazing. I mean, like I said, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot from a lot of people. I had so many great interactions. I've got so many ribbons. I can't wait to go home and show everybody.
I learned about the ribbons this year. I had no idea what they were about until I got here, and then people are like handing them to you.
I've been to many shows now, like 4. Never got one until now, but they're really sweet. I love them. Yeah, I've been chasing people around. People have been chasing me around, giving them. It's sweet.
Awesome.
Yeah, I like
hey, listen,
them a lot.
I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm sorry I'm so awkward.
No, you're not awkward at all. It was great.
Thank you. I really appreciate you guys. Do I just...
Yeah, you can take it out.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Chapter 5. Implement time-tested storytelling techniques to tell better stories in your videos. Storytelling has been around for a very, very long time, so there is no need to reinvent the wheel. All you have to do is implement the wheel, sometimes quite literally. There is such a thing as the story circle, which is a bit more complicated, and it's something that we do use. We implement it all the time. But if you want to keep it simple, these next time-tested techniques that we're going to discuss now actually can do the job. First one is going to be to know your audience. Find out what they love and what keeps them up at night. Now, it seems a bit manipulative, but the reality of the fact is that knowing your audience's fear actually dictates how your product or your service can mitigate that fear. So in a very authentic way, right? And I always say clients should be authentic. And authenticity is the best remedy, really. It really is. You can market to those fears because if there's a fear, there's probably a need, and you want to market, you want to, fulfill the need of the client. But also, if you're able to showcase how you can take a product or a service, or how your product or service can eliminate their fears while you're speaking to the things that they are very passionate about. I'll give you an example. And this is not political in any way, but a lot of people like the green products, the energy efficient products. They speak to 2 of these elements, right? People are very passionate about saving the planet, which is a worthy goal. And they have the fear of destruction of the planet, pollution, all those things. So when companies market to those folks, they are primarily, especially if they're going from B2C, right? Like a B2C kind of environment or kind of a video. They are very much speaking to those 2 elements, right? What their clients are passionate about, because they know their clients, so they know what they're passionate about and they know what they fear. And if everything is good in a perfect environment, you're looking at companies that their marketing, what they're promising is very close to what they deliver, if it's not exactly the same what they deliver. So that's you should deliver what you promise your clients. Having said that, step number 1 is going to be to know your audience, know what they love, and keep in mind what they fear. Step 2 is to find the emotional core. Basically, what is the human angle in this message? There are stories that hit you different. There have been stories that hit me differently. Basically, anything that has to do, I'll say a little bit about my own story. If anything that has to do between the relationship of father and son hits me differently. I lost my father when I was very young. So that has altered my life and has marked my life in a way that was very, for lack of a better word, violent. It changed things. It turned my world upside down. And when I see stories that show something like that, and usually most stories, most hero stories have to do with that relationship between father and son, and the relationship of the son losing the father. early in life, or having the traumatic inciting incident early in life. So those hit me differently. They really, really do. I'm not saying that in your videos you should have, artificial tragedies in order to showcase something. You should not shy away from deeper topics. I think you should stay away perhaps of some controversial issues. But I would say that the majority of the cases, if you are authentic, you can go deep. You see some of these examples. And I know this is a little corny now, but there used to be these commercials about saving animals and saving dogs, and they'll show you the dogs, and they have this really sad music, which it's a great thing, and I don't want dogs to suffer. But they are, in that example, they are getting deep. It's a deep topic, it's a serious topic. They're not shying away from it. They're not inventing a problem. They're just addressing a problem. You see these examples a lot with, nonprofit organizations that are looking to raise money. They don't shy away from these topics. They actually talk about it. And what we see is that will charge their audience quite a bit, so that, and again, we are talking about authentic, legitimate nonprofit organizations that can, get people to donate because the audience really cares about the topic. So I would say, don't shy away from these, things that are maybe difficult to talk about, but also very much important to your audience. As long as you keep it authentic and you are doing everything honestly, then there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, that is, especially in these two examples, something that you absolutely should explore. Step 3 is to use structure, like we mentioned before: problem, journey, resolution. Remember how I said that sometimes that there is a circle? If you really want to look at how most television shows create story structure, you need to look no further than the Dan Harmon story circle. I use this all the time. And in fact, when we're working with clients, we use this all the time. But you can further simplify this to step number 3, which, as I said, problem, journey, structure. For whatever reason, we are programmed as human beings to understand this. Think of it as birth, life, death. Everything has a beginning, everything has an end. So I would say that if you want to tell a good story, especially if you're doing like a commercial and you're telling a story very quickly, maybe you have 30 seconds. On Instagram, you have even less time than that. You're talking about 10-second commercials now. You absolutely have to be able to have this. You have to have that structure. Otherwise, you lose people. A problem can also be used as a hook. It's like when I start my videos, I have a little bit of a hook in the beginning. I'll say something like, what if I told you that you're spending way too much money on ads and your videos are not performing the way you should? That's a problem. And it's also a hook. You're wasting money on videos that don't work for you. So that's the beginning of everything, is the problem. The journey would be how Zuli, my video production company, can help you. And the resolution would be to either showcase the results we're able to get to some of our clients, or actually getting you to book a call with me. So the resolution, the resolution can be a call to action, which is a way to resolve that. But every video that you make for your clients, every video that you do, whether it's with us or by yourself, should have these 3 elements. You should have a problem, you should have the journey, and at the end, you should have a resolution. Step 4, show, don't just tell. Here's where you can use visuals, sound, and pacing to feel the story. Now, I can talk about all kinds of things and I explain things well with my voice, but B-roll or a beauty shot of a product or service, or just to smile on somebody who's happy they just got, the house service or the car fix or something, a service that you provide and they're happy with it. That can speak more than anything I can ever say. Again, going back to you're not the hero of this story, the client is. Showcasing people happy is really important. People like smiles. People like to see happy people. People like to see the result of using the product that you sell. Sometimes, and this is especially true with Apple, I think one of the most brilliant kinds of commercials they ever did, I think it was the 1984 style commercial that Apple did for, I believe it was the iMac. They, or I think it was just the Mac. I don't remember what the product was, but I do remember the commercial. And it doesn't matter because I remember the brand, right? So even though they don't sell the machine anymore, I remember it. And most people who ever watched that, they also do. Apple was fantastic at doing this. They would show a commercial that actually doesn't even show the product, and people wanted it anyways because it spoke to them. And basically in this commercial, they show a dystopian future where they said that, if you got it, Apple is the solution for how the future of computers are not going to be 1984, the book. And they show, again, this dystopian thing. They actually show the opposite of, they show the opposite of the ideal solution. But they showed, and the commercial is just absolutely amazing. So I would say, show, don't tell. This is true with all kinds of filmmaking. So not just, in the film world, but also in the commercial world. So visuals are important. And by the way, it's the reason why we have B-roll. It's the reason why we have graphics, because sometimes, it's people learn also in different ways. Some people learn more from listening to a lecture, but other people are more visual, and showing graphics and showing B-rolls of things, of features of products, that really helps. So show, don't tell.
A lot of the times when we're talking to prospective clients, because we do video production, they don't get that story is the thing that sells more than anything else.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Well, and then I also agree that just our interactions are a story.
Sure.
We have those conversations, we tell stories, we connect with those things. And so I think it's all coming down to different stories, how we connect to our art, how we connect to people, how we connect to each other. It's all stories.
Yeah, and I think also people like the authenticity. Because at the end of the day, everybody needs to make money, right? Mm-hmm. We're all running businesses.
Yeah.
But the reality is that there's also an element of passion.
I'm a very strong believer in that.
Right.
The idea of connecting with something and the fact that you identify with that piece. And my personal mantra, religion, belief, whatever you want to call it, is art makes life better. And it's that idea of passion.
Yeah.
It's that idea of what makes us different from everyone else is art and being able to create. And that's what excels us beyond things. It's actually why I'm very much against AI also, just to call that out, is because it's taking away the soul. It's taking away that passion for creativity and what makes us human.
Step 5, and with impact. Use a call to action that feels like a next chapter, not a sales pitch. I think especially nowadays, people don't want to be sold to. They want to go on a journey, just like we talked about before, right? The journey is part of the story. We want the ending to be the beginning of the sequel. And that's very much true. If you look at movies that do really well, Back to the Future comes to mind. The whole movie, the last beat of that movie was when they go into the now present, which was the future back then. The movie leaves in a way opening the door for the next chapter. And that's kind of what you want to do with your videos as well. And that's what we do here too. We'll be experimenting with, instead of ending a video, just pointing you to the next video. This also can be used if you're making videos that are part of a funnel and they are selling a, how can I say, ultimately you want to sell a big ticket item, but you start with a $29 offer or a $99 offer, so that the person can watch the video, buy this $29 thing, and then at the end of the $29 thing, there is an option to get the premium or the mid-tier service, which is $99. And then after that, you have the one that's $395. So you can do that. You can also argue the ethics of that, but I would say that in most situations, and again, if you're doing everything honestly, then the $29 offering value should be a great value at $29, and then the one at $99 is a great value at $99. So there's nothing really wrong with that as far as I can see. But I would say always finish the videos, finish your story. And again, Hollywood does this really well, leaving the door open to a sequel, leave it open to the next video, leaving it open to the next product that a person can purchase. Chapter 6, avoid these common mistakes. At the danger of repeating myself here, your brand is not the hero. Don't overcomplicate the story. Make it simple and make it effective. Don't leave out conflict. Tension is good. Have a takeaway or a lesson that the audience learns from watching the video. Here's a takeaway. I think that storytelling transcends age, time, and culture. There are things that are, for lack of a better word, inherently human, and storytelling is one of those things. This next interview is a gentleman that is not from America. In fact, this was his first trip to America, which we were glad that he was here. And he actually worked on one of the IPs that is super dear to my heart. And the funny thing is when I first exposed this IP, I didn't even speak any English. I was born in Brazil. And the first time that I watched the Thundercats cartoon, I basically fell in love with the story. I fell in love with the characters. And I identify with the main protagonist, Lion-O, for those of you who are fans of the show. And this gentleman actually worked on some cells, some art, from Lion-O, from the Thundercats. And I thought that was really, really cool. So this is what he had to say about that.
So this was my childhood hero, and it's the whole point about how storytelling in video marketing or any kind of marketing is so important. This is just a piece of paper that was beautifully done by this gentleman right here. But the thing, I think the thing that really makes this connect with fans and have people buy art like this is the story. So I know I talked a lot about that, but we want to hear about what this guy has to say.
And that's our man.
So how has like stories like Thundercats, or I know you did some stuff that looks like
Power Ranger Prime.
yeah, how does that help your business? Like how does that connect with fans and ultimately it translates to dollars?
Yeah, it's definitely helping because I think everyone has their hero, right? Everyone has their dream, and we're trying to put it out as a message or as a visual. To sometimes you imagine things, and you can't achieve without visuals. So we draw it out and we make it. Everyone's happy. You guys happy? We have fun as well. So I think the story is actually something like a message or something that connects us, and we imagine things. I think that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, and it's so what I think is so interesting is like, and I think a lot of business don't understand that the power behind everything is the story.
Yes, definitely.
And if you don't have that, then it's like
It's nothing.
it is nothing, and it's so hard to. I think it becomes like a harder battle
Okay.
to try to sell things when you don't have like, you know.
I think like it's important that we have a story, especially like when I got that cover. What the editors spoke to me is actually just like we want dynamics, we want power, we want to show how good is Thundercats.
Right.
He giving me such a few words, but I bet that with both sides we can imagine that okay, he should look gorgeous, he should look like powerful, he should look muscular like the original Thundercat is. So I think just a few words, but it carry out the message that we all want. The fans, the consumer, the artists, we all have fun together.
Yeah. And it translates to dollars, right? Because people buy it.
Definitely, it's business. We have to be realistic. I mean, like we don't do things for free. Yeah, but everyone's happy.
Yeah.
I mean, like we need this to keep the industry active, to act like a community as well. Everyone just want good stuff. They want to look at beautiful stuff. Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm not sure whether I'm answering it nicely.
No, this is perfect. Hey, listen, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, good luck with the rest of the show. Everything looks fantastic.
You guys.
You should buy that because that looks awesome.
You guys have been too kind. Like, this is my first trip in US.
Oh, really?
In Atlanta.
Well,
and in
welcome to the
DragonCon.
US.
Yes. I find it really welcoming.
Yeah.
And the place is great. Everyone's happy.
Awesome.
It's just great.
I'm glad I ran into you, man.
Yes, I'm glad that you guys here.
Awesome.
I'm glad seeing you guys in person. Thank you.
Welcome.
If there's one thing that I know is that storytelling absolutely converts. And there's no better investment that you can make when it comes to video marketing than creating a story that connects people, that connects your brand with the audience and turns them into everlasting fans. I had a wonderful time in attending DragonCon. It was the first time I've ever attended DragonCon, so I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. I really love talking to all the people that I interviewed. You can find their links to their companies in the descriptions below. I put all the links there, so if you want to get hold of these folks, buy the comic books, buy the art, hire them to, commission them to do something for you or for your brand. These were absolutely wonderful people. You should absolutely check the comments below and find the links where you can find them and their work. But if you don't want to do that, then man, you really have to watch this video next, where I show you how to create a content calendar, a video content calendar that helps you convert more.